Welcome to this explainer. Today we are diving into the fascinating and, frankly, pretty terrifying biological irony of how the everyday foods bringing us joy are secretly lethal to our pets. It's honestly a wild paradox of nature. The exact same things that fuel our day, comfort us, or even just decorate our dining tables can trigger absolute catastrophic biological chain reactions in the animals we share our homes with.
Look, we all know to keep the bleach and the cleaning supplies locked away, right? That's Pet Ownership 101. But what if the real hazard is the healthy dinner you're prepping or that beautiful flower arrangement you just bought? Is your kitchen actually hiding pet poisons?
It's a really cruel biological irony when you think about it. What provides antioxidants, a quick burst of energy, or just pure comfort to humans can literally cause outright organ failure in dogs and cats. You see, their metabolisms are fundamentally different from ours. They simply lack the specific enzymes and metabolic pathways that we use effortlessly every single day to process these items.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover the allium threat, caffeine and chocolate dangers, the truth about tuna, lethal lilies for cats, and finally, actionable tips for keeping your pets safe.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the allium threat, the savory saboteurs. So, think about onions and garlic. We use them in basically everything, right? Well, these incredibly common ingredients, along with their cousins like leeks and chives, contain organosulfur compounds that pets just cannot metabolize safely. And here's the kicker. Whether they're raw, cooked, dehydrated, or hidden as a tiny bit of powder in baby food, they remain highly toxic. Now, you might hear that garlic is less toxic than onions, but in concentrated amounts, make no mistake, both are incredibly dangerous. Okay, so here's what's actually happening under the hood. These sulfur compounds cause a massive, rapid drop in antioxidants in your pet's blood. This creates severe oxidative stress that physically damages the hemoglobin inside their red blood cells, causing it to literally break down and clump together into what we call Heinz bodies. And once these Heinz bodies form, the red blood cells become super fragile and are actually destroyed by the animal's own body. That leads directly to severe haemolytic anemia. Now, this is the really scary part, the timeline. It is totally sneaky. An animal might eat some onions or garlic, and at first you might just see some mild stomach upset. No big deal, right? Wrong. The life-threatening hemolytic anemia doesn't reach its absolute worst until several days later. This lag makes it a hidden killer, because by the time your pet is showing signs of oxygen starvation, pale gums, severe lethargy, and elevated heart rate, that oxidative damage has already peaked.
Moving on to Section 2. Caffeine and chocolate dangers, the stimulant threat.
You know that morning coffee or energy drink you need to get going? Or that dark chocolate you keep stashed in the pantry? Well, dogs and cats are incredibly sensitive to both of these chemical cousins. Caffeine and theobromine, which is the compound found in chocolate, are powerful stimulants. While we completely rely on them for a morning jolt, our pets' central nervous systems and cardiovascular systems are easily overwhelmed by them. And keep in mind, dark chocolate and cocoa powder pack the absolute highest concentrations of theobromine, making them the most hazardous.
Biologically speaking, this goes downhill fast. Just 1 or 2 dropped caffeine pills or a stray piece of dark chocolate can literally be fatal for small pets. It triggers a really rapid escalation of hyperactive symptoms. First, you'll see restlessness, pacing, maybe they're vocalizing a lot. Then, it quickly progresses to a wildly elevated heart rate, vomiting, and diarrhea. In severe cases, this massive overstimulation leads to muscle tremors, seizures, and potentially death if it's left untreated.
All right, prepare to have a major myth busted in Section 3, the truth about tuna, the feline fish fallacy.
15 times. I want you to really think about that number. That represents the relative dose of highly toxic mercury a tiny 10-pound cat gets from a single can of tuna compared to a 150-pound human. Tuna are top predators, meaning they bioaccumulate heavy metals. Because cats have such tiny bodies and totally lack the efficient metabolic pathways to clear that mercury out, feeding it to them daily causes it to build up exponentially. Over time, this leads to severe neurological damage, vision problems, and a total loss of coordination.
But wait, mercury isn't even the only problem here, because plain, human-grade tuna is severely deficient in vitamin E. Feeding it regularly causes a horrifying condition called steatitis, otherwise known as yellow fat disease. The heavy polyunsaturated fats inside the fish actually oxidize and turn rancid right inside the cat's body. It creates these hardened, yellow, intensely painful fat deposits right under their skin. A cat with steatitis gets extremely sensitive to being touched and might even stop grooming altogether just because of the sheer pain. Oh, and as a quick aside, raw fish also contains an enzyme that totally destroys vitamin B1, so you can add thiamine deficiency to the list of risks too.
Let's step out of the kitchen for Section 4, Lethal Lilies for Cats, the Botanical Betrayal.
Cats and lilies are a truly catastrophic mix. We are talking about such extreme sensitivity here that the entire plant is a threat. If a cat just brushes past a stargazer or an Easter lily, gets maybe 2 or 3 grains of pollen on its coat, and then licks it off while grooming, or hey, if it just takes a tiny sip from the water sitting in the vase, it is ingesting an unidentified, highly potent toxin that aggressively attacks feline kidneys. For dogs, it might just cause an upset stomach, but for cats, this is absolutely lethal.
And this turns into a critical emergency with a ruthlessly fast ticking clock. In the first 12 hours, you might just notice some drooling and vomiting, but within 12 to 24 hours, active kidney damage is already happening. And within 24 to 72 hours, the cat will experience irreversible, fatal kidney failure. So the absolute most crucial takeaway here is this: you cannot wait around to see if they get better. Veterinary treatment must begin within an 18-hour window of exposure, or the biological damage simply cannot be undone.
Which brings us to Section 5, Keeping Your Pets Safe, Actionable Takeaways. So after all that scary biological reality, the good news is that prevention is actually incredibly simple. First up, just stick to specifically formulated pet foods. If your cat is a total tuna junkie, use commercial cat food that's flavored with tuna. These have the proper balance of vitamin E and B1 added in, and they're rigorously tested for heavy metals. If you really want to give a fish treat, choose low-mercury options like water-packed sardines or some cooked salmon. Second, treat human staples like garlic, onions, chocolate, and coffee as if they are hazardous materials in your home. Store them securely out of reach. And finally, if you even suspect your pet has ingested any of these toxins, please bypass the internet search and immediately contact a pet poison hotline or your local vet. Time is almost always your biggest enemy in these cases.
Well, I really hope this explainer sparked your curiosity about the surprisingly unique biology of your pets. They aren't just tiny humans in fur coats, they are distinct organisms with very specific vulnerabilities to the things we consume every single day. So I'll leave you with this final vital question to ponder before their next mealtime. You know exactly what's on your plate, but do you really know what's in their bowl? Keep them safe, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.